3, 2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. We are your feared, extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GraniteGrok.com.
Grok Talk.
Have a seat.
All right. How you doing, George? Welcome to the program. This is Grok Talk. We're doing different things here. We're getting rid of all these extra segment breaks that we don't need if we don't have to call somebody. Now, when you have to call somebody, you got to call them. They got to answer the phone. You got to talk to them for a couple seconds. You got to put them on hold. Things need to happen. We need breaks for that. But we don't have to take breaks, and we've been going to the 60-second break. We just had a 6 or 8 second break, which is plenty of time for us to talk. Let me make sure headset test.
Yeah.
Okay, you're on. All right. Okay, George Lambert here. I did say he was coming in. I did.
You did.
And a quick reminder, Spreaker, TuneIn, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. You can certainly take us with you. People do. We have a lot of mobile listeners, and thank you very much for that. You can also check us out on GraniteGrok.com, where you can also listen on your mobile device, if you choose to do so. And
good.
We have George here. He sent me a little message yesterday. He said, hey, you got a segment open? And I said, yeah, I do. And you wanted to come and talk about some recent events.
Oh, yes.
Recent events.
I was actually talking to Mike at the Founders Day dinner, and he said, you don't come in and talk to us enough. And, that was just before Jennifer Horn went off and gave a great talk on party unity and how we need to actually
at the
protect
event last
Republicans.
week. At the event last
about
week,
being a uniter and all
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And making sure the public utterances aren't
I wasn't going to post that video, but now I am.
Perfect. So my wife is sitting there next to me, and she tweets, I wish I had worn hip waders. I mean, it was a preview of things to come. She actually posted that. I thought it was really funny because yesterday I was taking my daughter out to go and grab some coffee, and I actually saw the Union Leader. And I brought one for you just so that you guys could have a copy.
Well, hold on just a second. So let us bring it over to the Eye of Sauron. GOP chair, no trust in Ginta. Yeah, this from the lady who still owes how many hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS in the local towns?
You know what? The issues of, trust are interesting. I just posted on my Facebook some of the text message conversations I've had with Jennifer over the years. I don't delete any of my text messages. So when I was looking at running for governor, she gave me some suggestions and ideas and told me how, she needs to go out and protect Republican candidates. And, they're there.
She was telling
Please
you how to
take
run, George?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't listening.
She's never been elected to office.
I know. I've been elected a lot, right?
He's a real winner.
Since I am on sabbatical right now from
Yeah.
writing, send that link to either Steve or Mike or somebody to post up.
Uh-huh.
That will be amusing. We'll file it under humor.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Well, let's complete those thoughts because, first of all, let us remember that Jennifer was the one who ran to the front of the pack to depose Jack Kimball when he was party chair, after swearing when he was first elected to be his friend, helper, whatever he wanted. Secondly, last week Jennifer was nominally supporting Frank Ginter, and this week she's got the knife so deep into his back it's coming out the front. And the moment of the week is not WTF, but WTG. Her behavior was so egregious, Brian Gould resigned.
Yes. Actually, what I was wondering last night while I was thinking about this is who is it she's trying to get to run in a special election for Congress?
We were talking about that, and we think it's Dan Innes.
Okay.
I don't know that that's her goal.
No.
I think it's to protect Kelly Ayotte.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
I think she's basically trying to help Kelly, who's trying to position herself in the middle of or to the liberal end of the political spectrum, figuring she has all us conservatives and Republicans wrapped up, and she can get Democrat votes when Maggie Hassan runs.
I think she needs to get those liberal votes because she doesn't have conservative votes wrapped up.
Yeah.
That's what I was hearing
I
the
think
other
that's
night.
a net effect of what she's doing,
Correct.
who she's been.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been sort of surveying this mess, Bill, and what it makes me think is, ever since Cliff Hurst ran for party chair, and they sent their hatchet man, who has since made up and made friends again with Cliff, sent their hatchet man to tell Cliff what would happen to him if he ran, and the various other things that they've done. Essentially, the party establishment of Kelly Ayotte has done everything they can to push aside, and the Speaker's race interference, to push aside anybody who might be controversial, that might cause a bump in the road for the re-election of Empress Ayotte, without giving a moment's thought to the fact that she might not be electable anyway, and that they would be far better off tending to the basics of making sure that she was winning over hearts and minds, instead of trying to knock down anybody who looks the slightest bit controversial.
I think it definitely... I'm sorry, go ahead.
They're going to lose badly. I think they're going to lose badly as a result. Go ahead, Steve.
I think Skip's got something important to say, and it's probably more important than this, but this is a serious problem for any argument about local control, because they were throwing everything local under the bus just so they can have one Senate seat. That's it. Mm-hmm. They threw the House under the bus. They're throwing Congressional District 1 under the bus. They'd throw 2 under if they had it to throw. It's just it's aggravating as hell.
I got calls from the press yesterday on it, and actually I'm on WMUR's political page on this, and some of the kind of off-the-record remarks I was getting from some of the more senior political reporters was that this is all Kelly Ayotte, and people even in our party, except the very liberal wing, are saying, what is she doing? How stupid can she be? It's the same thing that we heard when she wrote the letter against my candidacy for Speaker. People are saying, there's no way she can win that. Either O'Brien wins or he doesn't win. If he wins, she has someone who, not particularly, as Speaker, who doesn't particularly care for, not going to help her out. If he loses, then you have a bunch of alienated conservatives. Well, it's the same thing that they're doing with Frank Ginter. Look, at Frank and I have disagreed over the years on particularly fiscal issues.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I've criticized him on supporting the extension of the debt ceiling. He made some awful remarks about the House budget as recently as 3 or 4 weeks ago, calling it appalling, even though it was a conservative. It wasn't even a real conservative. If I'd been Speaker, that would have been a budget that the cuts went on, and they just kind of grew it less than the Democrats want, and he called it an appalling budget for not spending more. So we've disagreed, but there's no reason for anyone, whether it's a federal elected official, the U.S. Senate, or the party chair, to throw him under the bus and to presume to tell him to resign. What he's done is no worse than Maggie Hassan taking $33,000 in illegal union donations, and no one said resign, Governor. She doesn't. The basic thing we shouldn't do when we talked about the disparity and unfairness of media coverage, we don't have to participate in it. We don't have to sign up for that kind of a double standard. And Jennifer Horn has, and Kelly Ayotte has, and
Speaker Jasper has.
So, Bill, you're a lawyer. So I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. After this,
I'm usually looking at the muffler system in most buses that go by these days.
Right. Well, after reading the documentation, I went to the bank and I added my 2 daughters' signatures onto our family account for them. Okay, they're way under 18, and I will add my 3rd daughter on when she's a little older, but if Frank's name had been on the account, which was formed when he was a minor, as a signatory, we wouldn't be having this question today.
And there's another perspective here, too. If you look at the U.S. Supreme Court's campaign financing laws, in which they've thrown out a lot of these restrictions, one of the things they said is it's constitutional to restrict money going to a candidate in order to avoid undue influence from being purchased. And that's the only reason we're justifying it. We're taking away the right of people to express themselves through their resources, through their assets, in the political realm the way they want to. I think you have a darn good argument here, constitutional argument, that mom probably has as much influence as she's ever going to have, and giving you another 300,000 isn't going to really add to it. And so the whole constitutional justification, when it's a close family member, a spouse, a parent, sibling, is just isn't there, and therefore that isn't constitutional.
And there is still the matter that the FEC fined him. He's just going to pay his fine and return the money, which is what they asked him to do under the law.
Right.
And that's it.
And they do this all the time.
They do,
I mean,
constantly.
I went and looked at the history, and this happens all the time.
If you go to the FEC and you just look at violations, there are hundreds and thousands of pages of these things.
You know who almost got caught with one, and I don't think she did? Kelly Ayotte misfiled her paperwork and had to file an amendment as well in the same election cycle. You guys should actually put a link to that.
Well, in trying to protect Kelly Ayotte, I think what the NHGOP has already forgotten that we already took out Frank Ginter once when he ran for re-election because he lied to us during his first term saying that, well, my number one priority is to cut the spending, as you mentioned, Bill. And I held him to it over and over and over again. And I convinced my 0.05 to 1.5% of the conservatives in the state so that he did lose. And this last election in November, you saw two top-tiered candidates dissing the universe of voters that they had, wishing that they wanted different ones, and they lost. And I think we're going to do the same thing to Kelly because she lied to us on illegal immigration, for instance, and I've got her on the video being against illegal immigration and for amnesty. So here's the deal. It's slipping out of the New Hampshire GOP's policy to be able to do this. Now, should Frank resign? I think he should have resigned and stayed resigned for lying to us the first time. For that, I will never change my mind. Okay? I will talk to him, but he lied. As far as this is concerned, I think given all of the establishment Republicans going for his scalp, I'm basically saying, look, Frank, your public lobbying career is over with at this point. Even if you just get thrown off all your committees in Congress, you got a nice cushy job for the next 2 years. Stick with it so you can stick the RINOs back here in the establishment of the NHGOP in the eye and say,
Skip, he's not going anywhere.
No, I hope I hope he doesn't. I hope he's there just poking at Jennifer Horns and Kelly Ayotte's and Papa Smurfs and all those other people in the aisle.
When I talk about the lack of political acumen on the part of the New Hampshire GOP chair, that's part of it. You don't ask somebody to resign unless they're going to resign.
Or you have the power to make them.
You have the power to make them.
Like
and
otherwise, Stella Tremblay.
Yeah,
they made her resign. She didn't need to resign. She didn't do anything.
No, she shouldn't have.
No, and so it just makes her look weak and ineffective. So it doesn't speak well for who she is, and moreover, I'm on the executive board of the.
So when did you get the email, Bill?
You know what? I'll tell you.
Right down to brass tacks. You got the email, right?
I ended up getting an email. Oh, geez, I think it was when we were in session. No, it was Tuesday. There was an email that came from because I mentioned to RINO Avellini, who's Belknap County chair. He and I know each other. He's in the House.
Not Belknap.
What county is he in?
Grassman's Belknap.
Okay,
Grafton?
Where's Lino? He's chair of one of them. Oh, I don't know. Anyway,
one of the area chairs, probably.
Maybe he's an area chair up there, but I know he shows up in the e-board meetings and we'll sit next to each other, going, "Oh my God." I know he's on the e-board. So I mentioned. I said, "Did you receive that?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, and then it was sort of like, "Have you guys seen this report? I'm very disturbed." And I said to him, and I thought to myself when I was doing it, I hope she doesn't do anything here. Should I give her a call? Or she usually doesn't take my call. Maybe she wouldn't. I'd just say, lay off. But then she came out with that. You saw it. I mean, it was in the press. And when did that come out? Thursday?
It was in the press.
No, actually, you can go read the letter on WMUR.com.
Well, of course it's going to be.
The whole thing.
Of course.
There's clips in here. The whole letter might even be in here. I
think it was in
one
of
the
articles.
They actually ordered pizza and got beers over at the New Hampshire Democrat State Party headquarters. Probably, woohoo! Yeah, they're doing our work for us.
Yeah, it was terribly self-indulgent of her. It showed a complete lack of understanding. And moreover, I'm reading it and thinking to myself, because she said, "Well, I don't believe him." What do I care what you think, Jennifer? You don't believe him, so what? It's not for you to say.
Mike?
It's terrible. So So first of all, as Skip said, we don't agree with Frank Ginter over everything. We especially don't agree with some of his votes in Congress. But, I bumped into Frank last weekend, and this was before the Jennifer letter, and I said, Frank, stay in there, stick it to him. And,
so,
and he said, thank you, of course.
Before the break comes out, I want everyone to think about, over the break, all of you guys, I'm calling for Kelly Ayotte's puppet, Jennifer Horn, to resign.
Okay.
And I believe that she should get, because of all of her behavior, I think she's really got to go.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and maybe talk about that.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW, New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.